What's up? What's up? Real MVPs, Ricky Widmer here, and welcome in to another edition of MVP Sports Live right here on either Twitch. You may be watching us on YouTube, wherever you are watching us. Thank you for spending your time with us today. I am joined for a Friday edition of the show with my beautiful co-host, Dave Oster.
Hey, everybody.
Dave, how we doing today? It's Friday, end of the week. End of the week. Cracking it up.
Celebrating.
What are we drinking? What are we drinking? You got to tell us. After he takes a sippy poo.
Some triple breezer.
Nice. Not sponsored, but cool.
There we go. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Dave's like,
kind of a fan. It was one of those ones where you just go in and you're like, I'm gonna try that one, and you just pick a 6-pack or a 4-pack. These were 4-pack. Yeah.
Nice.
I feel like that's the way to go, Benny. Sometimes, like I get in the habit of drinking and eating the same food all the time.
Same. I'm very predictable.
And it just comes down to like, I've just decided that like every time I go now, it's just grab something new. Just try something new is my new like default move, because it's like I might still get like one of the old, but I'm like, hey, I'm always happy. Like that's always a home run with me. But gotta try some new shit. That's why I'm
gotta change it up sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Otherwise you're just boring. Just call me old boring because I never change it up.
Yeah, I mean if you're talking about Ricky, you're talking about mashed potatoes, talking about turkey, you're talking about hamburgers.
Yeah. And chicken nuggies. Can't forget the chicken nuggies sometimes.
We don't really McDonald's or Wendy's too often. I mean, we don't do anything too often, Ricky. I haven't seen you in most a year now.
But like,
you realize that the last in-studio recording of the Fast Break
was a year ago? It was like in February.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it was in February.
Because I went to Utah in March, I want to say.
Yeah, it was in February. It was weird.
Damn. We're going to have a 1 year.
It's almost getting to that time where I'm seeing the memes where it's like the still trying to process last March, and then it's another March 2 months away. Because we still can't fucking get over what happened last time. But we got a jam-packed show, Dave, today, talking a wee little, like, it's weird. Not a ton of news going on. Also, not a ton of trade speculation, unless you want to talk Bradley Beal.
I fucking can't, Ricky.
I can't
talk Bradley Beal. I can't talk Lonzo Ball. I guarantee you tonight during our watch along, we're going to talk Bradley Beal and Lonzo Ball.
So you brought up before the show, you were like, you brought up a Bradley Beal trade with the Grizzlies. And Dave, in my mind, I literally said to you, in my mind, please don't make me talk about Bradley Beal trades today.
Oh, you don't want to talk about Bradley Beal trades today?
I've seen the same fucking Laker trade for Bradley Beal like 50 times.
Ain't happening, won't happen. I'm with you though. Like the NBA has kind of hit that point where it's a little quiet before the stormy, you know? Yeah. I think everybody's still just trying to figure out, hey man, everybody's got COVID issues, everybody is hurt, everybody's got all this shit going. And I don't know what really I'm just ignore that.
We'll absolutely bring those two
up. But yeah, and to stack on the bad, like we find out news about Cat where we already said we literally just talked about how tragic his last year was. We just find out he got hit by a car like last year also.
Oh, I didn't.
But the offseason. Yeah, the offseason he got hit.
Huh?
Like, did someone steal this man's fucking ice cream cone too? Like, I can't think of another thing.
Did he buy a black cat in the offseason, and that's where all this bad luck is coming from?
I don't know. It's just a sad fucking story though. But like everything seems to be just like negative. It's very hard to find positives. So I mean, here we go. Yeah. We got a Friday show.
Also, before we get into everything, Dave, there were some rumors today. I did actually get to watch most of the Pat McAfee show today.
Oh, what a banger this was.
As soon as they brought up the tweet from Vincent NFL, I was like, yeah, I've seen that. I've seen those tweets around. He's not a credible source.
Guy.
Right away, I'm like, we brought him up on the show.
Yeah.
Apparently, 2 2s and 2 3s is what the Niners want to give up for Staff, Dave. Not enough, right? Not enough?
Probably not.
Not enough. He is definitely worth a first. I thought that was interesting. But we got some NBA. We got a lot of football drama stuff going on.
Dude, speaking of talking the same thing, different day.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, I mean, today it's a little nugget. It's a little nugget. It's a little nugget. I think it's interesting.
That'd be nice.
Before we get into everything, though, let's get the housekeeping out of the way. Number one, if you're not in the Discord, you got to be in the Discord. That's where you can see a ton of Lonzo Ball trades going on right now in the NBA chat. Link down below in the description or / Discord and Twitch gets you that link so that you can join it. It is free. If you would like to support us, you can do it in 2 ways. Patreon.com / MVP vids. Get rewarded, whether it's the bronze, silver, gold, or platinum memberships. Thank you to our platinum supporter and sponsor, Pat Hill, for sponsoring this show. You can also throw us a sub on Twitch. Amazon Prime Gaming gives it to you free every month. Soapy, we do not have an OnlyFans. Not yet, that is. Not yet.
You could help.
You could help make that a possibility by throwing us a sub on Twitch. Prime Gaming, they give it to you for free. Why not throw it at us? End of the month, you can throw it to us and then throw it to us again if you want to. But yeah, no, we appreciate it if you want to do that and get rewarded for doing so. We're on Twitch every Monday through Friday, twitch.tv / MVP vids. We are also on YouTube at MVP Sports. Go ahead, like and follow. Like and follow, and what am I looking for? Subscribe. That's the one I forgot. So you're in tune with everything we're doing each and every day here at MVP. Also, today's show is sponsored by MANSCAPED. We will talk about them later. Dave, first thing we're talking about today, near and dear to our hearts, Zach LaVine, because the news is, Dave, the rumors that are
No, not even a rumor. This was a quote. We got a quote, Ricky.
Oh, we do. The thing I saw was in Discord today, where it's apparently Zach LaVine does want to stay and has had conversations with AKME about a long-term deal with Chicago coming of the max variety, Dave.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you, just straight up to start, should the Bulls give Zach LaVine a max deal? Now, he does have one more year after this one, so it would pick up after next year, but is it too early? Should we wait until what we see next year from Zach? Or should the Bulls double down and say, no, you are worth a max deal. We're going to go ahead and give it to you.
I don't know how long they have to think about this. It just seems like, yes, out the gates, abso-fucking-lutely. Unless the plan is, Zach is getting traded for a hefty haul because we are truly just scraping the bottom of a rebuild. Like that is we're like, here's the bottom. Here's where the Bulls are right now. We're not the top. We're not even in the middle. We're fighting in this gray area called the NBA purgatory.
Yeah.
We're not good enough to be a playoff team. We're not bad enough to get the number 1 overall pick that could change our franchise. So the lottery, deem it, we will take it. But right now we're kind of just stuck in the middle. I do think that the expectation should be like, hey, Zach's worth it. No matter what happens at the end of the day, Zach's play right now is worth a max contract.
Yeah.
He has really just one of the best offensive weapons on offense. Defensively, he is putting in effort. He's had some showcase games where you can see him play great defense. You can actually it's very nice to see effort, Effort goes a long way on defense.
Yeah.
We always talk about that, and it's really nice. So yeah, he is by far a max player to one team, which means he's a max player to the Bulls as well. So it would be a smart business to lock him down to a max unless they're thinking we're going to flip Zach LaVine this year or this offseason.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I know everyone's talking about the Zach LaVine trade, and you bring up a good point of what is the Bulls' timeline, because if we are scraping the bottom and it's like we're going to need a couple of years in the first round, in the top 10, in the top 5, in the
we
top
haven't
7.
left the top 10.
That's the thing. Like,
top 10,
yet again, let's put it this way. In the top 10 with AK calling the shots, not Gar Foreman calling the shots.
Hey, Gar Foreman was actually a good scout for a majority of his time.
Pick good players, but Garpax never put. There was never a unity with them. It was just like, hey, we're just going to take good players, and it's like, but how do they fit together? I don't know. That's the coach's problem. 2 years when they can't get it to fix, I don't know. It's the next coach's problem. Like, that's why the Bulls sucked. And like the big thing with Zach LaVine, and we've brought it up before, he's had, I think, 6 different coaches in like 7 or 8 seasons. Like, it was complete turnaround with Minnesota. The only coach he had for more than 1 year was Jim Boylan. He had Hoiberg, Boylan, now Billy Donovan. Here with the Bulls, he had, I think it was it Saunders, whoever the middle guy was, and then Thibodeau with the T-Wolves, to where it was like he's never had it to where this is my consistent coach. And it's funny that now he's putting up his best numbers, averaging 27 points a game, most rebounds he's ever averaged at 5.2, most assists he's ever averaged at 5.3.
Most turnovers he's ever averaged.
I mean, yeah, the most turnovers at
4.3. That's self-awareness. Also, he says, "Hey, I've got to do better." Yeah. That's exactly like year ago, maybe 2 years ago, we kept talking about, is Zach LaVine a leader? Can he be a leader of this BOIZ organization? We consistently came back to the answer of no. He is not a leader. He's not a guy who is going to stand up and be, held accountable for. He's just a guy who is out for his personal stats. And that was our opinion of him at the time from what we had seen and what he had shared publicly. Obviously, at this point in time, it feels like he's grown a lot in front of us as a basketball player, as a person as well. We've seen more of, the stuff that he puts out there publicly. We've seen more of the charity work he's done. Like, very positive all-around player. So now it's like, okay, if he's willing to put in the work, and the next thing is he holding other players accountable? Mm-hmm. That's what I want to see. It's funny. I pure straight hate Draymond Green because he kicks players in the ball.
You don't say, Dave.
If you ever watch this long enough, I hold a grudge because he literally just kicked players in the balls for 3 years, and not a problem. Just one of the dirtiest players in the NBA. But watching him out there actively give a fuck about James Wiseman, Wiggins, and Oubre, like watching him work with the young guys like Pascal, like all of that means so much to me that I actually like the guy. I can't hate him.
You can't hate Draymond no more?
Because he's a mentor. He's someone who leads a team. He's someone who actually gives a shit about how they're playing, how the team's doing, and he wants them to get better. And that's the kind of thing I would love to see out of a Zach LaVine. That is that veteran leadership. And I know Draymond Green and Zach are at very different points in their career and what they've done for the game, but it's that example of leadership that I really look forward to seeing from Zach, hopefully, as he is extended on the Bulls with a max deal.
And, like, the thing that, like, I agree with you. Like, Zach LaVine, I almost want to put it to where it was like, because, how do I want to put this? Were we looking at him as not a leader when we had that discussion because of the shit that Zach was dealing with, mainly with Boylan, to where, like, it almost felt like towards the end, to where Zach, like, didn't want to be there. Like, didn't want to be in Chicago, didn't want to deal with Jim Boylan, to where it was like, it almost felt like those kind of situations where, like, you're working a job and you're like, well, I'm here. I love the fucking place I'm at. I just hate the people. I hate the person that I have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. And
man, that rings true.
It almost felt like that, to where now having Billy Donovan, I think Billy Donovan is a big reason why we're seeing a little bit of a shift from Zach LaVine, because I feel like, and yet again, I feel this way because of what I hear in the press conference. It's nice to actually have a coach in press conferences that tells you what's going on, what do we have to fix, even if it's the same thing. Like, Billy Donovan will tell you, well, it's like I said last time, we gotta win the rebounds, we gotta win the turnovers, we gotta win the free throw shots. He'll call players out. It's not like we showed a lot of hustle out there and some conviction out there. I fucking hate that word. Conviction, hustle. It's like, you should hustle. You're an NBA player. You should be giving it your all. I want to know what's going on.
Veterans. Think about the lack of veterans that have been on the team since Zach showed up. Like, Quincy Pondexter was a veteran on the team. No one treats Quincy Pondexter like a leader. Like, I'm sorry. Outside of that, Robin Lopez, yes, he was a good guy, but like he's a journeyman center. He is not a leader. He's just he's a great guy. I fucking love him. Yeah. But he's not a leader. And then last year, literally, like, no one, like Thad Young. Like, we're talking Thad Young and Satoransky.
But I like Thad this year.
Gary Temple.
Yeah. But I will say I also like Thad Young as a leader this year more than I did last year. I think
last year he was vocal because he felt like he was brought in to do a thing and then that never happened. Yeah. Like, his role on the team got shrunk down so much where he felt like he was being overlooked. And I understand like there's definitely, you got to look out for yourself first at times. And that's very frustrating when your whole career, you're someone who puts up really good numbers, kind of in his own special category up there. Like the funny jokes are always like, it's always him and LeBron, and I forget the third player who have done this thing. Like players who are like 6'8", who have put up these kind of stats and averages for points, rebounds, assists, blocks, and like shooting percent. Like he's actually just a really good player all around, and he definitely had some issues last year with how he was used, and he was very vocal about it. But one of the big things this year was bringing in Gary Temple, who has honestly, in the short amount of time he's been on the team, seems to have ingratiated himself not only with the team but with fans. I think a lot of fans are really positive about what Gary Temple has brought to the team.
Yeah. Gary Temple's been the best veteran. Like, that is the best move that I think AK has made so far.
Yeah.
Bringing in Gary, like, the way that I see him talking on the court, and, like, the thing I was going to say about Thad is...
It's Garrett, by the way.
Garrett Temple. I'm saying Garrett.
I know
Garrett
it's so easy
Temple.
to say because it's weird, but yeah.
But, like, with Thad Young, I never heard about this last year, but, like, this year, apparently, like, him and Kobe, it's either... Him and Kobe will either get up shots, or I think it's they will actually work out together after games. So, like, the game ends, they're working out together for a little bit before one of them has to do a press conference. Like, and that was one where Thad even came in and he's like, sorry, it took me a little long. I was working out with Cobes after the game.
That shit builds, and like you love to see it from the outside because you know on the inside, like, I mean, I reference back to like high school shit, but like a lot of people who played in college as well would know, like, that extra effort shit goes a long way. Not as far as your game is concerned, maybe at most points, but as far as building that camaraderie, that teamwork, that relationship with your guys, like that goes a long way. So I'm really happy to see him do that with Kobe White, taking a young kid under his wing a little. And yeah, I think that's one of the big differences that has happened is getting that leadership out of veterans. And I think Zach LaVine has now realized that he can no longer be the kid on the team who just puts up points, you know?
Yeah.
He's got to be a leader. He's holding himself accountable. Let's see if he holds his teammates accountable. I love to see him calling shit out on the court, but like, I don't see a way that the Bulls could consider trading him at this point. To me, it seems like absolute max offer kind of a player. He's outplaying Devin Booker right now, who I know the Suns team are in a different position because they're now a winning team because Chris Paul, Mikal, Cam, like they got all of these pieces who are all clicking right now. But I think stat-wise, play-wise, he's just exceeding expectations.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, the max in the NBA is not like a secret club or anything. You play above X level, you are a max player. Like he is our best player by far. He is a max player.
And like that's the thing too of like I feel like this Bulls team. You talked about the timeline. Zach LaVine not only having a career year this year, I didn't even before mention that he's averaging over 50% from the field.
Oh yeah, he's 50, 40, like his
50,
free throw's not great.
50, 40, and then 87% from the line.
Yeah.
Like he is playing really well. And the thing I like most is he fucking works in Billy Donovan's offense. Like it looks like there is a fit between him and Donovan to where we don't need to strip this down to where like beginning of the year I was like, well, it depends on what AK sees. He could see it to where, hey, no one is safe. Patrick Williams is my guy. That's the only one that's my guy. The rest
that could be a total rebuild, yeah.
But it looks like Zach is now falling into where it's like, okay, we can keep Zach. Kobe, I'm still unsure. I think Kobe's movable. Markkanen, I don't think is movable. It's just with him. Let's just see how he plays this year, and then we decide if we want to give him a contract or not.
Remember that price was between $2 million off. Basically, we were looking at 2 to 3. I mean, we'll say just to keep it wide. But like, you know, the difference between a $20 million starter versus a $17 or $18 million starter, or maybe it was a 16 to 14 range. Like, I think honestly, for a player like Markkanen, 15 mil is the floor for a starter in my mind. I think 20 million at the high end for, you know, someone who's got upside but isn't an all-star. And I think that's sort of that range that we're going to be working within here. And the Bulls are a team with money to spend. The realistic expectation should be Markkanen's still young, spend the money. It's not going to hurt us in the long run because he's a big who can shoot. And regardless of what he's playing like for us, other teams will have interest.
Yeah. And
I don't want to have our hand forced into a 20-plus contract. That is what scares me.
Yeah. And like The one thing I will say, I know we didn't want to bring this up, but we have to at the Bulls. Let's just say we do land Alonzo Ball. Let's say we do. We're going to have to pay for him.
Be great.
We're going to have to pay for him. So it's like, that's another player that it's like, you're not trading for Lonzo unless you're re-signing him after this year.
Of course.
So like
let's do it two ways. One, if we trade for him. Two, if we go after him in free agency. Because there's also that. I know he's an RFA, but it's not a guarantee that the Pels will match. He's a player who does not have a fit on the team because of Eric Bledsoe.
How much would you throw at him? Because I'm not throwing a max at Lonzo.
No, he's not. No, I think it's the same range as Lowry. I think they're both roughly in that 15 to 20 range.
Because I think that the whole story.
I'd be surprised if Lonzo got that. To be honest, I don't think he's 20. I think that Lonzo will sign for about 14.
Because the whole thing with
his play could get better. His shooting could get better.
The whole thing with marketing was he wanted 20, but the Bulls were offering like around the 17, 18 range. So it was the first one that you said was Lowry was like convinced that I want 20 million. Yeah. And the Bulls were like, we're not going to give you that.
It's the very top end of like good starter in the league right now. And again, you have to look at how the cap is playing out. Like there's such a wide gap. And again, we don't know how small it's going to go down or if it's going to bounce back. You know, with the NBA, the salary cap is not a guarantee to go up every year, obviously, because it's not try to find this way. The media usage of the NBA is different than every other sport. Like NBA doesn't get the ratings. They supply the NFL. It's a very nice cap. You know, it gives teams a lot of money to work with. The NBA is very different, and the way people view the NBA is different. So because of that, and because of the way they have to get sponsors and everything, like I am concerned for the cap situation next year as well. I think Lonzo probably ends up in, like I said, like the 14 to 15 range, maybe 16 if he gets his shooting percentage up a little bit, because right now he's still struggling. But if you look at Lowry, like I'm with the Bulls on this one. I think the 18 mil range is right about spot on. 20 mil, maybe we can do an 18, 19, 20, like 3-year extension. Don't do a 4-year, just do a 3. Would make a lot of sense to me. Or, you know, if you want to skip a mil, just bump it up a little, that's fine. Because again, we have struggled to get free agents here. I'm being realistic. No one wants to come play with the Bulls right now, even though we have someone like Zach LaVine. Free agency is not yet that spot where we can go and be like, come on, have fun with the Bulls, like over the, you know, who wants to come spend the week? We're going to have like 9 inches of snow tomorrow. Like nobody fucking wants to come be a Bull right now. I've
ditched the adage of no one wants to come and play for us.
I haven't.
Like, and the only reason I've ditched that it's more of a ditch it to a wait and see. Okay. Because I feel like I know the whole you like to throw out the weather thing, and I do admit for some players
that's just the family. I mean, like, yeah, there are nice areas in the Chicagoland area. I think I love the area. Again, we've lived here our whole lives. I think it's great, but I think when you have the option of living in LA, Miami, New York, Chicago is a half step down. There are even spots in Texas, like there are multiple teams in Texas who have amazing setups.
To me, I think the bigger thing was the organization as a whole. Like when
there was the Garpax shadow.
Like,
you're right. That
I don't want to go play for Garpax. I feel like, and yet again, we have to wait and see. I feel like AKME are setting a thing where it's like we actually have an organization here now. We have guys at the top that actually know what the fuck they're doing. To where I want to, like, it's more of a wait and see to see if we can completely kick that adage.
No, that's a good call. Arturis, Mark, and Billy, all three of those guys together, massive improvement from what was here before.
And they all talk to each other.
They all talk. They're all friendly. They all work together in the same direction. I think you're right. Actually, I haven't looked at it from that perspective of we've changed the order of our franchise, like how we could sell ourselves. So yeah, there is a chance maybe we'll get some guys in, but I think it's more like what Chainsaw said, and I think it's more we're going to continue to get good role players like a Garrett Temple, you know, like Satoransky, where we went and got him. But like, I think that stars, if there's a 5% chance Lauri Markkanen is going to be a 22-10 guy or something like that, who has floor spacing capabilities, got to pay him. You've got to pay him.
And
same with Zach. Zach's a max deal. I mean, blind person could tell you Zach LaVine's a max deal, but like, I think you have to pay for that. And if we want to win games, you're going to have to pay for Alonzo Ball.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I do want to touch some things from Twitch chat because I do have a question from you from it. First off, I just want to get the thing off of Chainsaw says the entire Chicago Bulls situation is wait and see. Mad Rogue immediately says Bulls fans have been waiting for how long, though? Okay, the reason we've been waiting for how long is because for about 3 to 4 years, if not longer, fans have wanted our front office fired. Reinsdorf didn't pull the trigger. So that's what set our organization back. The whole wait and see now is we just got to wait this season. Like, that's the thing. Bulls fans we are so anxious for off season. But we got to wait till the season's over before that. We want to see what the next move is going to be. But we have to wait till the off season to do that. And I know that we want to be back to greatness. But I feel like, yet again, Aaron Rodgers said it best. Relax. We just got to fucking relax.
You can say that, but
like this season means nothing win loss wise. Like
I agree.
It means nothing.
This season's all about development. Is Kobe who we thought? Can Patrick Williams be the next Kawhi Leonard? You know, we're waiting to see those moments. I don't even need like long periods. I just need moments, and I'm happy with that pick. You know, that's all it is. Is Lauri Markkanen going to be our 4/5 of the future, where he has a sustained offense more than staying in the corner? He has a well-rounded game with a little toughness added. Yeah. Can Wendell Carter stay fucking healthy? Like,
apparently
that's the big
he's
one.
out for 4 weeks.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's tough to be a young team because any draft we take at this point, like any pick we make, says something about one of our recent draft picks. Like, if we take a 5, instantly we've lost faith in Wendell Carter. If we take a 4, lost faith in Lauri Markkanen. Take another wing, we're like, oh, we're still pushing Lauri out. We're honest. And if we take a point guard, it's clearly Kobe White is a 2, and we all realized that a while ago, but it was like we were trying to make it work.
Yeah, so. And the one thing that was brought up in Twitch chat that I kind of want to steer to a little bit because it's interesting is we talked about Lonzo. Tim said Lonzo closes the door on Cade or Suggs, though. Just saying. I want to ask you that. Does it, if we get Lonzo, does that mean if we're in the top 3 and if Suggs or Cade are there, depending on where we are, does that close the door and then basically it's Mobley or bust for us?
Absolutely not. I think that Lonzo Ball does not close the door for any player in this draft because Lonzo Ball is someone who just needs touches. Like, he doesn't have to have heavy usage. He's someone who thrives with just being the guy who can start offense, the guy who can initiate offense. Cade Cunningham is someone who can play the 3 for us. He can play the 4 for us. It doesn't actually fucking matter. He is literally like junior LeBron James levels of, I have handles and I'm big. This is going to work out great for everyone involved. Don't overthink the situation. And I think that's what's great. Like, we're looking at a guy who honestly could come into the NBA and drop, 18, 7 and 5, like, without a problem. Like, that's Cade Cunningham. He's going to put up ridiculous, similar to Luka Doncic, just with athleticism numbers, that's what I'm excited about for Cade. I don't think that him being on the team means you play him at the 1. I think the numbers are, again, when players play beyond the position, like you can say it's positionless basketball. You can say whatever. Cade Cunningham goes on the floor regardless. You play him similar to Ben, similar to Luka, where you just want to have other talented players around him because he's so good regardless of where he's at. Yes, he can give you an advantage, but he's probably not going to be out there guarding 1s for you. He's probably going to be guarding wings because it's easier to guard a wing when you're similar size. Ben Simmons is unique that he has the athleticism, the agility, the foot speed to keep up with your team's best fucking player regardless of positions. That's kind of unique. Cade is more offensively gifted. He'll be able to pull up from the outside, space and offense. I think Jalen Suggs, same thing. Jalen can space the floor, doesn't need the ball. He can play off ball. You can tandem, Jalen plus, but Jalen goes into a position where we're already like hilariously deep. So it's like, if we get Lonzo Ball and we re-sign Zach LaVine to a max, Jalen Suggs no longer makes sense for us.
Yeah, I think it then goes...
I would not consider him still because he could still be BPA, but it would open the line if we were pick number 3. Say we're pick 2, just so Mobley's still in the conversation.
I would go.
So
Mobley.
would you rather go Suggs or Mobley at that point?
Mobley.
I think a lot of people would just say Mobley.
Yeah.
So that kind of solves that issue.
Well,
so if you're 3 and you're looking at the rest of the board, I might say, am I going with Suggs, Kuminga, Green? Those 3 guys in my board are all very close.
Yeah.
We're about to see the G League Ignite team play their first set of games in February, where everybody's really excited for that. So it's too early to call that, but that is a fair question. I don't think it's a negative though.
It depends for me because, like you said, let's say we get Lonzo. If we get Lonzo, then immediately, if we're number 1, we get Cade. And to answer a question, I think it was Tim that asked this. No, it was Chainsaw. He said, "What are the odds that we get Cade or Suggs right now?" So right now, if the draft was today, Bulls would be 8th, but going into the lottery.
No, we land at 7 because that's our jam, but still.
Yeah, but I mean, that means we have a 23.5% chance of being in the top 4. We have a 5% chance with the number 1 overall pick. Here's the thing I want to, here's a little food for thought, though. And this goes to another thing in Twitch chat where it says, Chainsaw, I seriously don't think we are that bad to have a chance at Suggs or Cade. I disagree because we're at 8. We're a half game behind the teams that are 5 through 7. And we're about a game and a half behind the Miami Heat, who are the number 4 team right now. So we are very close to being, if we're Miami is right now, which that pick would be a Thunder pick, by the way.
Let's be fair,
would
Miami
jump up to 48 and 12. Yeah.
We got to asterisk Miami because of their lack of available players. Jimmy Butler struggling with the after effects and effects of COVID-19. So they've been a team without a leader.
If they get better and start winning,
it's going to balance out, guys.
Yeah, to where it's if we go up to 4, we jump from, let's see, that 23 in the top 4 goes up to 48% top 4. Yeah. And then that 5% top pick goes to 12%. We're not that far out of it, which I know the team looks good, but we're not far out record-wise because you and I have said, records this year for playoffs and everything are going to be
it's going to separate 4 slots easily. That's what we're going to come down to at the end of this year. It will be wild.
And the thing is, if we're number 1, Cade's the pick. No matter who we're getting, Cade's the pick.
Regardless, Cade is the pick. Just at number 1.
Yeah, fucking bored. If we get Lonzo at number 2, Mobley would be my guy. At number 3, though, if we had Lonzo, it hurt, didn't it? Well, stings a little bit.
Well, they hit the wrist on the wall.
Number 3 then becomes interesting because, you mentioned, I would almost lean Green only because
another shooting guard.
Well, so the only reason I would lean Green, and of course we're gonna have to see how he plays in the G League.
It's so good though. He's so fucking good.
He is good. I think he may really be the 3rd best player in this draft. It would be
Kuminga is very interesting too.
The thing with
because he's late to the game.
The thing with Kuminga is if we're not going to re-sign Lowry, Kuminga's definitely the pick at 3. Because then you have Kuminga at the 3, Williams at the 4, or flip them, whatever you feel like.
I'm with you. I agree, and I think that he's someone who raw athleticism and talent's there, but also he has been just dominant. He's working on his shot. He's very exciting. I think he's one of the most interesting guys who has he could go up to number 2.
Yeah.
From the bubble or the G League bubble.
Yeah, we just gotta wait and see how he plays. And then if we go 5 or lower, Scotty Barnes then gets thrown into the discussion.
Scotty Barnes and my boy Jalen. Which Jalen, Ricky? Which Jalen? Which of the 17 Jalens in this draft class?
Baby. Not JS. We going JJ. Just call him the jet plane. I'm gonna call Jalen Johnson the jet plane from now on.
Yeah, no, it's exactly like Jalen Johnson, who has just supreme skill set out there. I'm so hyped about this kid. So yeah, there's a lot of guys who are up in that conversation for the Bulls. If we do land at 7, Scotty Barnes would be interesting. I think who's the kid out of California though?
California. Daisha Nix. Are you talking G League guys or
no?
Guys?
Hang on, let me just pull up Tankathon because I'm lazy and they've got all the names. Mock.
Zaire Williams.
Stanford. Zaire Williams out of Stanford. Yeah. He's someone who is just supremely interesting to a lot of people. So I think we're going to see a lot of movement right now. This season's so exciting. As a draft fan, you should see the scribbles I've got. I'm going to share some scribbles with you guys in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Ricky, I've got plans for this. I haven't even told you.
Well, I was going to tell you, I do want to do what you mentioned earlier this week. I do want to record a big board between you and I. I don't know if we do
Saturday recording sesh. I don't lock it in, boys. We're going to get a big board for those who are our patrons. You will get.
Dave already has a big board worked out. I would have to work out mine. I think
I do. But if you're a patron, you get that big board 1 week in advance.
Yeah, I mean, for me,
shameless
it's just
plugging.
Like you said that, and I was like, we have to fucking do that. Shameless plugging. Not sponsored. But if they want to sponsor us, go ahead. Fucking, I'd love for you to sponsor us. But yeah, I feel like we're on the same way. Also, thank you, Soapy. We could always go Ao DeSumo with a extra first round pick or even a second rounder, depending how he goes. Also, Illinois minus 2.5 tonight over the Hawkeyes. Let's book it. Let's go. ILLINI. Yep. Go Illini. Go. I'm gonna beat the Hawkeyes. But yeah, I feel like we're both on the same page. Zach deserves a max deal based on what we've seen. And I can't wait to see how the rest of the season goes out for the Bulls. Any final thoughts, Dave, before we move on?
I love the fact that we turned the Zach LaVine topic into like everything. A Bulls like overall like holistic view of the team.
You have
and
to.
I hope everybody enjoyed that. I really do because we are deep Bulls fans, and I think that's something that like it's our roots. Yeah. It's impossible to get away from.
Yeah, no matter where you are, you'll never get away from it. But we are going into football, Dave, and the first one, it's not going to be a long topic. It's just a little bit of an update. Where if you've been keeping on track with the Watson Watch, as I'm calling it, Watson Watch 2021, Deshaun Watson wants to be traded. Apparently there are teams that want him. Apparently the Jets were the favorite.
Ricky,
that was the last thing we talked about.
What does the man upstairs say?
Yeah, what does he say? Dear Jesus, let me know. Also, you got to have that sanitized, Dave. Like, that's why Culley got the job, I heard. Insider Pat McAfee, he got the hand lotion there. They all sanitized so they can hold hands, kumbaya, our Father who art in heaven, hello be thy name.
That was literally the best part of the show. It was so good. Well, it was Pastor Psychobest fan.
He got down in the locker room and he prayed with Esther B. Basically, also, nobody knows how to say his name. Casario, Chris Casario, Nick Casario.
Oh. Okay, you got the name wrong 3 times over.
But
yeah, Casario.
Today we had a quote from, you said Casario?
Casario.
Damn
it, they had the guy on who actually knows him.
Casario. The Senior Bowl guy.
Yes.
Casario.
Yeah.
He spoke today because they had a press conference for Culley. He said, we have zero interest in trading the player when asked about Deshaun Watson. And then Culley spoke and he said, he's the quarterback of the Houston Texans. And that's all that I was concerned about, Culley said when asked about his knowledge of Watson's status when he was interviewing for the job. That's all I knew, and whatever was being said about what he wanted to do or didn't want to do, all I know is this. He's a Houston Texan, and I wanted to be a Houston Texan, and the reason I'm in this position today is because I knew he's going to be a Houston Texan. The outside stuff was being said is irrelevant to me. Dave, do you buy what the Texans are selling? Is their front office basically saying, Watson, we know you want to be traded, but fuck off. We're not trading you.
But fuck you, Deshaun Watson. Because guess what? You signed a contract. Mm-hmm. We're not the NBA. You sit out, we take your money.
Yeah.
We're okay with that. That's exactly how this reads out. This is a standoff of epic proportions between the front office and their star quarterback and Deshaun Watson. Mm-hmm. I love everything about the drama that goes around this situation because Deshaun is someone who previously hadn't been outspoken, but this was like like I said, this was the final all right, fuck it, I have to say it publicly so we can get the ball in motion. I'll get the fucking people going, get the offers out there publicly. So like if the Texans don't do something, they're feeling it from everywhere around them. The pressure on them to trade me is real. Now the Texans came out and said, don't give a fuck about that. You're our quarterback. No plans to trade you. We're going to make things better. I don't know about you, Ricky, but like when someone tells me they're going to try to fix our relationship, there's no fixing at times. There's a point where you just cross, beyond repair, and that is where Deshaun Watson lies, and beyond repair. He doesn't want to be there. 110%. They want to have a franchise quarterback who has incredible talent like Deshaun Watson. Now, in order for them to move him, this would be a good way to comment out that, hey, we have no plans to trade him, which means you really have to up your offers. What has been thrown our way so far, because I guarantee you teams have been in contact, is not enough. That's what this felt like, bring up the stakes a little bit. We're not quite there, guys.
Yeah, I appreciate what the Texans are doing and yet again, I am all for player mobility. But I am all for what Nick Caserio is doing, because Nick Caserio has come into a shit situation where I feel like if I was him, my first conversation would be with Deshaun Watson. I don't know what the fuck's been going on here, but I'm going to fix, basically you can have I want to build a relationship with you because you are my main probability here. You are our success right now. I don't know if Caserio's looking at this going yeah, I need to get Easterby the fuck out of here because I did not know he was chaplain up to
everywhere,
calling the shots.
Everywhere has talking about him. Even the Senior Bowl, apparently they were talking about him, which is a nightmare for you as someone who is trying to draft and interview players.
Yeah.
How are you supposed to do your job when every player there is thinking, well, what are you going to do with the situation with Deshaun? And how does this guy who factors into your organization and God, obviously, come into this fucking thing? If you could put yourself into the moment of being a 20-whatever-year-old player at the Senior Bowl, could you imagine a conversation with the Texans recruiters, the guys who are interviewing you, the guys who are hey, so if you're in this situation, do personality things, do play calling things, you got to figure out X's and O's, but just trying to test their personality. How do you even do that when everything that's going on is just nuts?
And that's the thing. This has been a shit situation from the beginning. I do not envy Nick Caserio at all. Because basically, I almost want to be oh, well, it's a catch-22 because you want to build a good relationship with Deshaun, but then you go ahead and hire a coach he didn't want. However, the flip side to that is, who do you hire when nobody wants the fucking job? When basically you have to, you could come over here and we'll overpay for you. There were many people we heard through the grapevine where it was apparently people pulled their name don't fucking consider me. I don't want the job.
Yeah. And again, we talked about him coming from the right organization in the Patriots, but this is going to be a little cross-action. I don't know if you had seen some of the comments about the Eagles press conference.
Oh, I watched the clip that Mad Rogue put in, and I was wait, what? We're gonna have a simplified system, but it's gonna be complicated enough that the other defense doesn't know what. But it's simple enough for us. It's
and we're smart.
Wait,
we're gonna be smart.
What? Wait,
I got the Ricky Trump hand.
It was a very Trump press conference. I'll be completely honest. We are so smart here in America, but they're so dumb over there. It reminded me of that.
Did you hear about Monty's comments on the Eagles hiring and Twitter's then reaction to?
They all look the same.
They all look the same. Just hired a bunch of whites. And that's the funniest thing to me because you look at this and you go, okay, say no one wanted this job. There was no minority candidate who was up to standards for this job. Any of these jobs. That's what kind of gets me going crazy because you say no one wanted this job. I guarantee you someone who has been literally ignored by other NFL organizations as a minority interviewed for this job and didn't get it over Caserio. So that's one of those things that hits me are we fucking serious? I hate the people who are in the year 2021, are we really having this fucking conversation? But we are. And it's ridiculous that I don't have anything against Caserio, obviously.
Would you rather be the OC for the Chiefs or the head coach of the Texans?
Well, that's a different conversation.
I know, like that, but that's it. When you're bringing in the race and stuff, it's the enemy is where everyone looks to.
If Bieniemy interviewed for this job, I don't know how he didn't get it.
I think he interviewed. I agree. I am going to answer Madrick's question. I think he pulled his name out. I think after a while,
really?
I think he probably interviewed, but then as all this shit was coming out, and apparently people in the NFL like that are in it every day know more about the Esterby stuff than we know.
Yeah, I mean,
he probably found out more about
in the last 4 days. I found out more about the Texans.
To have found out and go, I don't want to deal with that. Pull me out.
Yeah, that is one of those things. Like, I agree with Bomani. I think a lot of the takes on the racial injustice in NFL front offices makes perfect sense to me. I understand where those takes are coming from. I understand the ridiculousness that is the, like, I know a guy, so I'm just going to hire him. And it just so happens it is what it is. Like, we need to fix that. But this was a situation where no one wanted this job. And we ended up with someone here who clearly is in a position he can't win. Like, his quarterback, who he signed with the team, thinking he would keep, wants out. Like, what is he supposed to do? Deshaun publicly asked for out. They say they want to keep him. Like, how can Cesario bridge that relationship? Is there a chance for him, or do you think this is all just we're just trying to leverage up other teams to get higher trade value?
I think they want to keep him.
You think? Okay, so I
think they want to keep him because the whole thing is, and I think Pat McAfee mentioned this today. I don't think the Texans want to go into a full rebuild. I think they want to try to turn this thing around quickly. And how do you turn around quickly? You keep Deshaun Watson. He's like you said, he's under contract. So what is Deshaun Watson going to retire? He's going to retire and waste years of his career just because the
68,000 or 680,000 a game or some shit like that, like some ridiculous number.
The interesting thing though was I guess he put something on Instagram unrelated to everything, and Jalen Ramsey quoted on it, and he goes, "Looking like a good LA guy," kind of referencing that like, hey, you should look good in the Rams. Apparently, DeAndre Hopkins has said he thinks that Watson will end up in LA.
So the golf for Deshaun Watson.
That's what
Goff they obviously don't have a first this year. So it'd be a 2 and a future 1.
The thing that McAfee said was, we're going to see the day of like you're getting a first in 2024 and then a first in 2034, Dave. Those 2034s, it's a bad draft class. That's what I'm hearing right now. I mean, who knows what's
next after Zoomers? Like, I don't even know. Do we go back to the A's or like?
I have no idea.
I don't know what's after Zoomers. Whatever that is, like we're gonna end up with those people in the NFL soon. So you're right.
Generation Alpha. Do they go back to that? Alpha and then Generation Beta.
Okay, I know the NBA does the cap on how far out futures can be traded.
Yeah.
Like they have a defined deadline. I don't know if the NFL does that. I assume they do. Okay.
I think they do. Like I've never seen one traded that far down.
So far in advance, yeah.
Yeah, to where it's like I thought this was interesting, just like a little like update of like, oh, they don't want to trade him. I agree. I think he gets traded eventually, but I do see it where they don't want to trade him, but eventually I feel like they will have to because the situation is just a shit situation.
I don't think there's any coming back from this. No. I don't think Deshaun Watson can play for the Texans this year.
No, there isn't. Like once you've made the decision, I want out, you're gone.
I think he will hold out of teams if they refuse to trade him.
Good old
and I know that's
Benson.
So far away. We're in fucking the end of January, and we won't see him till August. Yeah. I guarantee you he will hold out of a game if he has to get out of town.
I think so too. Too. But Dave, let's go on to a segment we love to do. The dampest of dudes, the saggiest of shooters, the moistest of men, and sometimes the mistiest of misses. These are our Wet Boys players.
The frostiest of fellows.
The frostiest of fellows. We had a frosty fellow 2 days ago in Jimmy Howard. Yeah. But these are our players of the day. Usually how it goes, Dave gives a Wet Boy, I give a Wet Boy. Patrons at patreon.com/MVP vids, silver and above, get to vote on a Wet Boy as well. So go ahead, support us there. You guys can vote for your own Wet Boys too. Dave, I'm going to kick it off to you. We don't have many days left of January, but January 29th is today. Who's your wet boy for the 29th of 2021?
I got to go with the Mikal J all over here. Mikal Bridges on the Phoenix Suns. He did something that was just wholesome and enjoyable, which was make Kelly Oubre look like an absolute fucking joke yet again on national TV. Mikal Bridges had himself a good offensive game, but defensively, the clamps he puts on people, I mean, if you're a 76er fan, you have to just feel bad.
Zaire Smith,
no way what you gave up on. What's up?
I said Zaire Smith, what?
Yeah, Zaire Smith, it's like a slightly less hurtful form of the Markelle Fultz Jason Tatum deal.
Yeah.
It's Zaire Smith, Mikal Bridges. You still know you clearly fucked up, but you know, obviously Jason Tatum looks like a fucking ridiculous player, top 10 player in the future. Mikal Bridges, top 20 player in the future, maybe. Some people on their 5-year out predictions, some people have him on there. So
on their 5-year out prediction, is that?
I'm just gonna float that out there that video's coming.
Is that a reference, Dave? Are you referencing
that was a reference from Discord where I did poll our fans, and someone did have Mikal on their 2025 top 20 players listing. So
was it you?
Just
Dave?
know it was me.
Yeah. I was like, is it? I'm like, Dave's getting real smug over there. It can only mean one thing, that it was Dave.
It was definitely me. Definitely. I will make a video on that the next week, though. I do plan on setting some time aside for that video.
Dave,
but
go ahead.
I do love Mikal, and I do love shit-talking Kelly Oubre. We talked recently about Kelly Oubre and his struggles and being traded, supposedly, or interest from the Pelicans. So, I don't know what's going on, man. This kid cannot fucking play basketball. He can't shoot. He's a good flasher. He can finish sometimes.
Yep.
But he can't shoot.
No, he can't. Dave, mine was spoiled yesterday. I called my shot Ken Griffey style. I was calling the dinger. I'm like, that's my wet boy, and I'm actually going with a Misty Miss today. It is Chelsea Dungy, baby. Last night, the Arkansas Razorbacks gave the UConn women Huskies, the Lady Huskies, their first loss of the season. The number 3 team went down to the number 19 team, and it was basically because of good old Chelsea. 37 points in the game, 5 of 10 from 3, Dave. She was stealing the ball. She was rebounding the ball. Got to get those rebounds. Only 3 of them, but she's grabbing some. Let's be honest. She scored the rock. That's what she fucking did.
She's a scoring machine out there. 21 shots from the field. You know she's got the confidence from the coach.
Also, a thing that I saw because I was looking for a PNG of her. Last year went with the brunette hair. This year going with the blonde hair. So
I'm surprised more NBA players. Have you seen the trend of them obviously doing the blonde up?
Yeah.
So it's like blonde tips, but just more.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
You're saying it's the this year's version of frosted tips from
not
kids?
A fan. Not a fan.
Who does that I think looks fucking silly?
Fucking
Nurkic does that.
Oh,
Nurkic has the fucking like blondish red hair on top, and I think sorry Nurk Daddy, but it looks fucking dumb. Looks so dumb. And Dave, the patrons, they're going with a guy who this might be his only wet boy of 2021.
This is a sad but happy wet boy.
Blake. Nope, that's mine. Blake Griffin, Detroit Pistons. They beat the Lakers. He had a good game. 5 of 10 from the foul line, 23 points. Might not see Blake have many more wet boys this year.
Now, I have to ask this, Ricky, because he was 5 of 10 from 3.
Oh, then it was 3-pointer.
2 of 2 from the foul line.
Yeah, I didn't change it then. It should say 3-pointer. Sometimes shit like that happens. Dave, you didn't even catch the mistake I made last week on your card.
I don't have Twitch up all the time.
No. I'm glad because it said Brandon Ingram, right colors, but apparently he was on the Philadelphia 76ers because I forgot to change that from the Toby card. Sometimes things just they slip right through the cracks, Dave. Whatever. You got to roll with it sometimes.
Blake Griffin transitioned his game to shooting threes just in time for him to lose all athleticism.
Yeah.
It's sad, like you said, because this might be his last wet boy ever because he's playing on a massive contract. He can't move like he used to. This guy needs to go to Germany, if you catch what I'm saying here, for an offseason, get himself back into shape. And I look forward to future Blake, but I hope he takes care of himself. I really do want to see Blake continue to play in the league for many years coming.
Yeah. And Dave, we've got 2 more topics left. I moved one of our topics. We'll talk about it next week because I don't know how long that one's going to go with the Raiders.
We went long on our first 2, so that's fair.
We did. But before we get into Panthers and their quarterback situation so that I can rant a little bit.
Nice.
But we got to talk about today's sponsor, which is MANSCAPED. MANSCAPED is supporting MVP Sports Live today, and it is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. MANSCAPED offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped is trusted by over 2 million men worldwide. Join the movement for all your below-the-waist grooming needs. Dave, I show it off every day. Use it all the time now. I love smooth balls now. I've never had them. I've usually had hair down there, and now I am fucking shaving them, and it is the greatest feeling that I've ever fucking had. This thing is so cool. It lasts long. You can use it in the shower. It does not nick you, which is probably the best part. Because I don't know if you've ever been nicked down there, Dave.
Oh yeah, I used to razor. Yeah.
It's not a like.
No, you think you're dying.
It's just like every small movement. It's like, that hurts. That hurts, and it's like a little pinhole type thing. This will not do that for you. Plus, it's got a little flashlight there. So you can see what you're doing down there. So you can do it in the dark. Basically, right now, go to MVP or go to manscaped.com. MVP is the code. Get 20% off and free shipping. That's 20% off and free shipping. Manscaped.com using the code MVP. Your balls will thank you. And Dave, speaking about Manscaped, apparently the Panthers are trying to trim some fat. They're trying to trim their own fat off their team because I don't know if it's just me. Why the fuck does everyone want to replace Teddy Bridgewater with the Panthers? They're like, I get the Deshaun Watson thing because Watson better than Bridgewater.
Yeah,
but like, here's the problem I have with it. People are trying to replace Teddy with the 8th overall pick. They're trying to replace him in free agency. Apparently, Mitch Trubisky is a better option than Teddy Bridgewater, which is basically taking one of Teddy's gloves, saying, hey, can I borrow that, and slapping him across the face. That is what you just did with Teddy's own glove.
I think the Mitch thing is more of a backup quarterback. He's not a starter in this league.
I hope so. But, like, I hate that people are trying to will a new quarterback into the Panther system because, one, in the Deshaun Watson thing, yes, Watson is better than Bridgewater, but you're trading draft capital that the Panthers need.
Do they though?
I think yes, they do.
Team playing without their star player, Ricky.
I think that team.
Their defense needs help.
Bingo.
But their defense does need help. No one will argue. But you have CMC out there, and if you could add Deshaun fucking Watson, come on. Who's going to stop you?
Defense wins championships, Dave.
Drew Brees
Defense wins championships.
He's dead.
Tom Brady is in the Super Bowl right now only because of Devin White. Devin White alone.
Exactly.
By the way, Super Bowl MVP Devin White. Put it on it. One buck gets you 20.
Backfield. Get fucked the rest of the NFC South.
I get
doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter.
I get it. It would be great, but I feel like this team
could be the greatest tandem of QB running back we've ever seen since fucking Emmett and Aikman.
No, I get it. Like, I get that. And, like, that's like the Watson one I get. But yet again, like, it's more so the draft one that really gets me angry. Because it's like you want to fucking take Justin Fields or Trey Lance rather than taking either Micah Parsons or, I'm sorry, fucking Kyle Pitts. Do you imagine giving Teddy Bridgewater Kyle fucking Pitts? Like, do you remember how good this team was when Greg Olsen was doing things for them?
Ricky, I had Kyle Pitts at like number 3 on my phone board. I was all over Kyle Pitts. I understand exactly how good. Like, Greg Olsen was a good tight end who was hampered with injuries. Kyle Pitts is basically the next Travis Kelce coming into the league.
Yes.
How can you pass up on that?
You can't.
I don't think you can.
Like,
I think that I understand trying to upgrade at quarterback because that's the eternal game of you are not a team until you have a quarterback. It doesn't matter how good your defense is. It doesn't matter how great your weapons are. If you don't have a franchise quarterback, you will not win a Super Bowl. And I think that is been magnified in the last couple of years, especially with what has been able to happen down there in Tampa Bay by Tom Brady. Literally getting Tom Brady on a team where they were able to just reload. They didn't even have to do anything else. It was just reload. 2 years ago, you could have said, hey, Tom Brady's going to win a Super Bowl. He doesn't win a Super Bowl. He wins a Super Bowl. And I think that is been magnified in the last couple of years, especially with what has been able to happen down there in Tampa Bay by Tom Brady. Literally getting Tom Brady on a team where they were able to reload, just reload. They didn't even have to do anything else. It was just reload. Super Bowl contenders instantly out of the gates. It's insane.
They've also had good draft picks too. That's the thing. Like
they've done a great job on their defense. They add veterans.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Look at that defense, and you got Vita Vea in the middle. Mm-hmm. You added in JPP. You added in
Lenny.
I mean, Sue has been there already, but like all those guys had been added into the team already. So it was just they went out, did everything they needed to, and I think that the Panthers are going, how do we compete with this arms race that is the South? You got Atlanta, who has 3 wide receivers who are just studs. But they have, questionable coaching.
Yeah. I mean,
Astros has questionable coaching.
Yet again, is it going to be an arms race? Because we're going to wait and see what we see from Atlanta with Arthur Smith. Right. Drew Brees is no longer in New Orleans.
Team down there, maybe.
It seems like it's Bucks or bust for the next couple of years.
We don't know if Tom Brady will come back.
You think he Elways it?
He's playing till 50, so probably
if he wins next Sunday, does he Elway?
That's the thing. I'm not rooting for it. It's a thought in the back of my head. Mm-hmm. There's a good chance he could Elway it. This is the final fuck you to Bill Belichick. Mm-hmm. You didn't make me, I made you.
Yeah, I am truly the GOAT, and I'm going to walk out on top where I should be. Yeah. But yet again, greed is a tricky mistress, Dave.
It is.
You win that one.
No one loves the game like Tom Brady.
Tom Brady might say, dude, we won it this year. I could win another one. I could win another one here. Bring playoff Lenny back, baby. Leonard Fournette scoring touchdowns. Like,
why not?
This is, yet again, I like the Chiefs next Sunday, but it should be a good game. With the Panthers, I feel like maybe it's my defense of Teddy Bridgewater, but I am on the side of you don't need to disrespect my boy Teddy. He's a good quarterback. If he didn't fucking completely destroy his leg on one fall day in Vikings camp, he might still even be the fucking quarterback of the Vikings. We don't even know that. Dave, the last thing we'll talk about, a little draft news today, is Senior Bowls this weekend. It's on Saturday. Mac Jones, though, questionable for Saturday's Senior Bowl. Might not play because his quote says here, I am not going to go out there if I'm not 100%, Jones said after practice. It's not fair to my teammates to not be 100% and try and play and not play well. I'm going to make the decision because in practice, Mac Jones sprained his ankle, Dave. To you, how important is it that Mac Jones doesn't play in this game and doesn't risk re-injury? Because right now, he's number 15 on many mock drafts.
I think it's the best thing for him. Okay. I think that he is an incredibly smart kid who will interview well. And as we've heard, Pat McAfee show, thank you. Yep. PMC. We are never valuing the game itself, but we're valuing the interview process during the week. So being able to talk to people is all that matters. We will have pro days. We will have, all those things going on like normal, but the game itself could only hurt Mac Jones in my mind because you're working with guys who aren't as talented. Mac Jones was in one of the best offenses in college football. So why the fuck would you go out there and play with guys who you don't have that relationship with? Yeah. It doesn't make sense to me. I think this is the best case for him. He can shine as a person, as a mind, someone who has a great mind for football, perhaps, someone who doesn't necessarily have the athleticism, but has the pedigree for football. So hey, I took my team pretty well. I ran things well. You have no complaints about my offensive skill set. I might be a game manager, but if you put talent around me, we will win games. We absolutely will win games. I think that's all it says about him is he's protecting his draft stock. I don't think he will fall an inch from this.
Here's the interesting thing that I took away from, you mentioned Pat McAfee. I wish I could remember the name of the guy he had on. He said something to me that was yes, that is what I see in Mac Jones, where he was to him, Mac Jones is more of a late 1, early 2.
Yeah.
Because he goes, if you're going to take a quarterback in the top 15, there needs to be one thing that jumps off the page that's that's why I'm picking him. For example, reason why I'm taking Zach Wilson if I'm at 2 is because I look at his arm strength and I go, that's it. Like, I look at him and I go, he could be what Josh Allen is right now in the NFL. That's what I do. With Mac Jones, I don't see that. Like,
I see a good quarterback, not a great quarterback. I don't want to say
he's a game manager.
He is. And I was like, do I say Ryan Mallett, Matt Castle? I'm just going through quarterbacks from New England. Trent Dilfer is the most famous game manager of all time.
Yeah.
I think that Mac is 10 times the player. Yeah. I think Trent Dilfer, and again, like,
could he
people want to get mad. Trent Dilfer won Super Bowl. Yes, he deserved that Super Bowl. But like, as far as overall athleticism, talent, throwing power, Mac Jones is leaps and bounds ahead of where Trent Dilfer was.
Is Joe Flacco a better comp then? Because Joe Flacco, more athletic than a Trent Dilfer, was not the reason he won his Super Bowl. It was special teams and defense.
Flacco had a arm. He had a gift for the long ball, just a touch.
Yep.
Like, his touch on the deep ball was special. I don't know that Mac Jones has that touch that I would literally. That's all I'm looking for in the next Joe Flacco. Sorry. Yeah. You got Trent Dilfer's name just planted here now.
Dilfer dimes, baby. Gotta have those Dilfer dimes.
Yeah, Joe Flacco with that long ball touch was special. I don't know if he's like that. I think I see more of a mid-tier quarterback. I honestly wonder if you look at someone like Dak Prescott's college highlights, I kind of have seen Mac Jones.
And Dak.
And that's one of the things where I'm like, I don't want to be that guy, because I know, like, obviously one was a later pick, one will be a much earlier pick. Yeah. But I do see similarities in their game, and I wonder if NFL teams, if I'm seeing this, like, am I just way off base, or am I seeing similarities because there are similarities?
Here's also the thing I think about is, if Mac Jones was so good, if he's so good, why is he not up there with Trevor Lawrence? And the reason why I say that is, the thing I was going to say was, I think that Mac Jones's team, Alabama, makes him look better than he really is. Having Devonta Smith and Jalen Waddle, two of the best wide receivers in the class, makes you look really good. Having the best, if not the second best running back behind you in Najee Harris, makes you look really fucking good. We're like, I am like, and the reason why I brought up the Trevor Lawrence thing is, I thought in my mind, well, then what about Trevor Lawrence? Like, he's had fucking, like, he's got ETN, he's had great receivers, but it's like
years.
But he excels. Like, he has the it factor that we go, that's why I'm taking him number one, because
his stats don't jump off the page.
No, they don't. But like, you watch him play and you watch him, and it's just like, holy shit, he's on another level. He's a man playing amongst boys down there. Where Mac Jones is not that. Mac Jones, if he goes to a good system, can succeed. But he's not, to me, Mac Jones is not going to be someone that elevates a team on his own. He's going to need the right system to have players. If he has the right players around him too, then you can elevate. That's why it's like, the only reason he goes in the top 15 is if Bill Belichick feels like him, McDaniels, Edelman, James White, like, if they can elevate him and he can be the system quarterback for them.
So here's a question, kind of jumping off Mad Rogue's comments on Twitch as we're live streaming this. He said, I see him as game manager, stop having to be an insult, which I love, because it sort of is an insult.
It is.
But the thing about Jones, Tua wasn't really a great quarterback in college. He was the exception to Bama QBs actually being good at the NFL level. Do you trust another Alabama quarterback, even if Tua isn't working out? It seems like Miami is trying to unload him. The question is, does Tua's lack of success at the NFL level scare you away from Mac Jones? Because Tua was another guy who played amongst arguably the most talented players on that loaded Alabama roster. Like, should that be a warning sign that, hey, Tua's not a direct success? And again, I feel like you have to asterisk that with my hashtag, because I keep throwing hashtags. I can't make an asterisk with my hands because of his injury. So like,
Tua does
Mac
not
Jones
make me worry.
Tua are different prospects to me.
Yeah, well, Tua doesn't make me worry. What makes me worry is the only two players that we have talked about from Alabama
Yeah.
that are in the NFL right now and are currently going to be starters are Tua Tagovailoa and partially Jalen Hurts, because Jalen Hurts was a starter at Alabama before he went to Oklahoma. And I feel like, to me,
highly successful Jalen Hurts.
Yet again, he went to Oklahoma, though. Like, that's the thing. I feel like the Alabama system, it's kind of the reverse Kentucky for basketball.
Ooh.
Kentucky is all about, how do I get you to the pro? How do I get you to the NBA? That is my main goal from Calipari. Yes, we're going to win basketball games while we do it. We may win a national championship, but I want to get you your bank. I want to get
Alabama's
you
about linemen and running backs and defense, baby. That is how you win college football.
Nick Saban is at the level of, we will win so many national championships that alone will get you drafted. Does not mean you're a good quarterback prospect. Like,
that is what I'm wondering.
Linemen, D-linemen, defense, wide receivers, running backs, those are the people from Alabama that are slapping.
Yeah, that offensive line, if you're an Alabama offensive lineman, you're guaranteed to go in the NFL draft.
Yep.
Guaranteed
to
go in the NFL draft, regardless of if you're first string or second string even. Yeah. Like, you take snaps for that Alabama offensive line, fucking draft that kid. I do wonder, for people who do have Mac Jones ahead of Trask, Trask is someone who has played with some talent on that Florida offense, but his arm talent was on display much more than Jones. And that is what I wonder. I think that's my question is, for people who are still trying to say that Mac Jones is a better quarterback than Trask, where is your argument at? Where is it centered around? Because I see the talent in Trask, and I love Trask's arm talent.
What is Tua's biggest problem, Dave?
Can't throw the ball down the field.
What does Josh Allen do best?
Throw the ball down the field.
What does Patrick Mahomes do?
Throw the ball down the field.
Right there. I know it's only 2 examples to 1 example, but if you can't throw the ball down the field, you're going to have problems. Like that right there. Now, is Trask always the most accurate? Probably not. He has thrown some interceptions, but like, if you can't extend the defense, and if they're always playing in the box or close up, you're not going to have a good time. Like the South Park meme. Like, you need to throw the ball down the field, extend that defense, overplay some coverages. How many other sports adages can I say?
And extend plays, too. That's the other thing. You got to be able to roll out and make some things happen in the open space as the pocket breaks down. And that's one of those things where I think Mac played in a very controlled and well-protected pocket. So, again, I'm not taking anything away from him. I'm just saying I've seen things from Trask done. And what I've seen from Trask has impressed me more than the controlled, highly efficient machine that is Alabama football.
I totally agree. Mad Rogue is right, though. Mahomes does do a lot of things besides throw the ball down the field, but that's because why he is the next GOAT. That's why after Tom Brady is gone, we'll be referring to Mahomes as the next GOAT in the conversation because of what he does on the field. But that's going to do it for MVP Sports Live today. Thank you to everyone for doing that. We had a pop in Twitch chat today. I absolutely fucking loved it.
Yeah, this was great. Thank you, Mad Rogue. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, fucking Chainsaw.
Tim.
Thanks, Tim. Yep.
A lot of fucking people. Remember, join the Discord if you're not in it already. Best community in the universe. Link down below in the description or exclamation Discord in the Twitch chat gets you that. You can support us at patreon.com/MVPvids. Thank you to our Patreon sponsor, Pat Hill. You can also throw us a sub on to Twitch.
Hey, Travis, thanks for showing up, man.
As well. Travis R. What is that? Riley? Travis J. Riley. Thank you for showing up, man. What's the last thing? We're on Twitch every week. Twitch.tv/MVPvids. We're also on YouTube, MVP Sports. Also, remember, you can go to Manscaped right now. I'll throw it up one more time. 20% off and free shipping. Manscaped.com using the code MVP. Go ahead and do it. Thank you to our sponsor, Manscaped, for sponsoring the show. Dave and I will be back next week on Monday to talk more sports for you guys. That's going to do it for us, though. Have a good weekend, as always. Have a good day, everybody. Fuck, I completely... That was like a
WPN,
Sean...
baby.
That was like a Sean fuck-up right there. But
it really was. You were like rolling, and just bleh.
Yeah, that was Sean-esque. That's my Sean impersonation. We'll see you guys on Monday.